Hello. One of the things that you'll notice when you're dealing with a situation with a narcissist is there'll be a pull to go along with things. So there'll be a tide pulling you to just go along with the flow of the narcissist's pattern of behavior. The way they want to narrate the story and have you as a character. The way they want you to just relax and be quiet about all the inconsistencies that you detect. The way they want you to say nothing when in your presence they're bald-faced lying to every person that the two of you know. But it's not just you and them. They will have people that support them. And they too will contribute to this feeling of a current. Just go with it. Will be the feeling. Just lie back and let it take you. Don't resist. Just go with it. It's easier that way. That will be the urge. That will be what is the pressure that you'll feel. Why it's pressure? Because you aren't on the same frequency as that. You're trying to stand your ground. You're feeling the dissonance between what is and what you are, and what you represent and the truth you hold, and this avalanche, slow moving, that wants to take you with it. But you don't want to go, because you know that there's no point. There's no reason to go with it. They shouldn't be going with it. And yet, this is what you're presented with. Go with the flow. Don't speak up. Don't rock the boat. Enjoy the ride. Don't make a scene. Don't fuss. It's not that important. Accept what I or we impose upon you, not what is true to you in yourself. And this is the persistent demand, entitled demand, from this sort of narcissistic structure that is developed. Because it won't be a one-off. It will be multiple times a day. It'll be weekly. It'll be multiple times a month at varying levels of intensity. Every time you stand up to something, every time you stand your ground, that's a very tiny win, a tiny battle, but the war is still raging. And it will be required of you again and again and again. Because every time they're applying pressure, it's an opportunity for you to stand your ground, but it's also a potential for you to break, for you to crack. That's what they're banking on, that's what they're hoping for. And let's not pretend it doesn't erode. It doesn't erode us, which is why we need to separate ourselves from these sorts of destructive systems. But this is the energy that we're presented with. The energy is keep smiling, keep laughing, keep the fun going. Don't go deep, stay superficial. Let's laugh, let's pretend that everything is fair and that people aren't being harmed, and that people's rights are not being disrespected. Let's keep the circus going. They want us to join them in the intoxication but when you don't, that's when the evil clown's fangs come out. Not just the narcissist, but all those people who enjoy the intoxication that the narcissist brings. That's where you start getting ostracized. That's where you become inconvenient. That's where you're ruining the party. That's where you're overreacting. When you don't go with the flow, you break other people out of their intoxication and their flow that they are enjoying with the narcissist. It's like being asleep and then being frustrated at the person that's coming and shaking you to wake you up. Naturally, you will say, "Oh, it's the middle of the night, I'm sleeping, you should go back to sleep too." This is natural, normal, and reasonable. Now that is the equivalent of what is occurring when we, as someone who begins to see this drag, this pull that narcissistic systems have to override our truth and our reality. When we see it, we want to go and wake up everyone. We want to wake ourselves up fully. It's not always just about waking others up. We want to stand up. We want to snap out of it. And yet, the other sleepers are just saying, "Go back to sleep. There's no need to wake up." You and I know there is. But we have to understand that we walk alone. Where narcissistic people thrive and these systems perpetuate, they only do so because the conditions for their survival are present within those people, those institutions, and those communities. We are the odd ones out when we awake, when we see the patterns. And we think that our awakening would naturally be shared by others, that they too would see what we see and be grateful, or at the very least understand our actions and not ostracize us or not take sides in very self-serving ways. But no, the system persists because the conditions are present there. We have become the odd one out. We have stopped going along with the conditions. We have stopped running those sorts of patterns, habits, thought patterns. We've stopped buying into everything that allows those systems to subsist. So we have to understand that now we walk alone, now we stand up, now we gather our things. Whatever we can learn from what we have experienced, we pack up and we depart, leaving the sleepers to sleep. This is an opportunity for us to step into our individuality, to find our strength, the strength within us as individuals, that it has been pretended that we don't have. It has been suppressed. Now we reclaim it. Now we recognize that we have a different path to walk, and that we don't have to go with the crowd, we don't have to go with the flow, we don't belong to that flow anymore. We have our unique flow that we now need to discover and walk in. Without any validation or permission. This is the opportunity. This is the invitation. It's easy to focus on the loss of the community. Loss of friends, loss of trust. It happened. But why it happened, and your place within it, and then the invitation and the opportunity for your future, that is another thing. That is where you can write your own story and craft an entirely individual way forward for you, where you are not pulled, where you can stay steadfast and strong, when you know what that feels like, when the pressure is on you. And this is not something that you easily crumble under, because you've proven to yourself your capability. That gives you a very different outlook on life. That gives you a very different, not only skill, but view of yourself. What you now can plan and choose to do is informed by that self-knowing. Not going with the flow, stepping away from the crowd, has given you this. You can embrace it and enter into a new phase if you choose. Thank you for listening to today's message. I hope it helped you. If you think it might help someone else, please do share the video and do consider liking and subscribing. Till next time.